called the Quaran-Zine, which is going to be a really fun thing for people to get involved with if that's something that you want to get stuck into. So we're going to be talking about that today, and I'm just going to bring Lucy in now, if I can. Fingers crossed this works. We never know if it's going to work. It might just be me talking for half an hour and on that side. Hello!
Hello! Can you see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you okay, I can hear you okay. How are you doing?
Good, yeah, I'm alright, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Been keeping myself busy at home. Trying to find things to do, you know, making dye, tying some knots, that kind of thing.
That sounds great. That sounds well good.
How have you been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been fine. I've been doing my final major project and just sort of trying to keep busy, I've been watching, I think it's called Normal People on BBC, which I'm just like completely addicted to. So that's taken up my last like 24 hours.
Nice. I think what I'm probably addicted to at the moment is I keep like going to the cupboards in the kitchen. You know, you do that thing when you want a snack and you look in one cupboard, you look through all the others and you go back to the first one to see if anything changed.
I've done that all the time. And then you open your fridge and you just sort of look in the fridge for no reason and you close it again.
Literally. So I was just hoping that you could introduce yourself and kind of introduce... So the topic of this is obviously talking about your Quaran-Zine, which we're really excited. I'm just wondering if you could just start us off by who you are and why you made the zine and why you started the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm Lucy, hello. And I used to be one of the Disabilities Officers with AUB, which was great, and I really enjoyed it, and I learned so much. And one thing that I learned and felt was almost like missing was this sort of like community spirit in terms of like mental health. So I thought, because AUB already do a great job anyway, but I thought I'd add a bit more to it and start sort of like a zine that's collaborative for artists who are dealing with mental health and sort of express their mental health through art, which I do with writing, and I know loads of other people do. And then we can sort of all put our work together and put it out in like a zine publication. So we've done 2 now. The first one was just local to AUB, which was really fabulous, and we had so much great art in it. And then the second one actually was sort of worldwide. We had artists from like Russia and Italy and Spain and Germany, everywhere, just all over the place, which was amazing. And that zine did really well. And we're actually taking the zines this year to, well, probably not this year now because of everything that's going on. I think it'll be transferred over to next year, but to Green Man Festival and End of the Road Festival to do zine-making workshops and just talk about how you can benefit your mental health with art. And then we'll be like handing out zines and stuff there as well. So yeah, and then we thought, well, we've gone into lockdown, why not use the time now, because everyone's going to be dealing with the stress of it in their own way, and I thought, why not build another little community, get the artists together to make another zine, so a Quaran-Zine.
Yeah, awesome. I think love the play on words. I think also this is a really this is a really positive thing, I think, because obviously with everything going on and there's lots of work to do, and it's really hard to kind of break away from the day-to-day stuff. Yeah. Because you can be in the same space, you've got the same habits. So I think actually something positive coming out of this is this community that you're making, and if you're creating things. So we've been seeing on the AUBSU, on the hashtag, that loads of people have been creating things at home, which has been really cool to see. So keep tagging us in that. We've really been enjoying seeing
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I will.
So we know that people are at home making things, so this is a really good opportunity to kind of maybe use this as an incentive to make some work and have something really positive come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good distraction at the moment to make things as well, sort of take your mind off, like turn off the news, turn off the TV, and just sort of like channel yourself into something creative. And it's nice to give people something maybe that can then showcase the art in, or something to work towards. And we've had some really great submissions already come in, so it's already coming together to look like a fantastic zine. So it'll be really cool to have some more submissions in as well.
That's really awesome. So what kind of work has been submitted already, and what are you looking for?
At the moment, we've had a lot of poetry. It seems like people are writing loads of poems in isolation, which is great. I absolutely adore poems, so bring the poems on. We've had lots of illustrations, lots of line work. I really want to see more sort of like photography and random things, like people making random items of clothing or stuff that's a bit more out there. But yeah, the more the merrier. I want more and more. So it's great. We're getting submissions most days, so I think it's going to come together like a really nice piece of work. But yeah, keep sending them in. Keep sending submissions in. Anything. It can be any form that you like. There's no limit.
Really cool. So it's like it's really, really open. So you've been saying you get lots of poetry, like illustration stuff. What about like if let's say like stills from performances or something? Can those be put in?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything like that. Anything that you feel like, say you did like a performance at home or like anything like that. Anything that's happened during isolation. Anything at all. Yeah, there's no limit.
That is pretty awesome. And like, what's the best way for someone to kind of reach out to you if they want to get involved with it?
Yeah, so you can either contact me on this social media that I'm on now, I Don't Want to Go Insane, or you can email me at goinsanezine@gmail.com. But I'm pretty active on all the socials. We've got a Facebook as well, and a Twitter. So if you reach out to us in any way, we'll get back to you nice and quickly. There's two of us working on the Quaran-Zine, and we're both active on the socials. So
that's really awesome. For anyone that's just joined us, so we're just talking about a zine called the Quaran-Zine, which Lucy is working on. Which is a creative output for any work that's being made during lockdown. So it's kind of something else to focus on, something to tune into, and also just kind of get those like creative flows going and have something to work on. So is there a deadline for this? What's the deadline?
So the deadline was the 31st of May, and we're sticking to that at the moment. But I think as isolation goes on, and if it looks like we're staying sort of locked down or whatever for longer and longer and longer, then we might push the deadline on anyway, because it gives people more time to create stuff. But at the moment, the deadline's the 31st of May, and then we can start sort of like cobbling it together. So yeah, but keep an eye out for the deadline, because it may change as time goes on.
That's real cool. Is there like a certain format that things need to be in? So that they need to be like, the images need to be a certain size, for example, then they need to be JPEG, I think the technical stuff, or is it just as straightforward as sending things over?
So as a general rule, it's nice to have it in PDF form, because it's sort of easier to sort of move around. And the bigger, the better, really, because when we have smaller images, when you blow them up, they're going to blur. So yeah, the bigger, the better, PDF format. Yeah. No, other than that, there's no specifics, really. We don't have like a colour theme that we're going for, like we did in the first edition. And even like, so say someone like wrote a song, we could make like one of those little like barcode things that you can do that people can scan, and it will then link you to the song on like SoundCloud or something like that. Yeah, so it doesn't need to be visual. It could be a video, or it could be sound. Yeah, anything like that. Like say you made a little film or something like that. Yeah, we want to have it as sort of like versatile as possible. Make it as inclusive as we can to all artists.
That's super, super awesome. I think I might have to jump on the wagon now.
I think you definitely should.
Yeah, I think Phil's been making some really cool stuff. We had like loads of, I think we all get junk now. Mm-hmm. So we had like loads of paper and stuff that had like piled up and never seems to find its way to the recycling bin for some reason. So what Stella's been doing is it's been like putting it all to the side and pulped it all over the last weekend, and has been making like paper sculptures, which
That's
is
amazing.
Like, really, really cool.
That's so cool. That's such a good way to like recycle stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Because usually like you'd think you'd have to like maybe paper mache or use glue or something, but just making things with paper at home. And we didn't use a blender for it either. Like all Stella did was soak this paper in water and left it. And then started like ripping it up with her hands and mashing it with a potato.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Really cool things to do at home.
Yeah, I'd love to see those. That sounds amazing.
I think they might be on our Instagram, so we might have a look at that.
Yeah,
I think also maybe in light of this, for those watching, if you've got some cool things that you've been up to at home, tag us, let us see them, and then we can share them out as well. And also think about submitting them in. So I think you usually said that they're usually things that are mental health related. So is that theme still going to be in this issue, or is that something open?
Yeah, so issue 1 and 2 was just mental health, but I think now that we've sort of gone into quarantine, and I think even if you don't deal with specific mental health conditions, everyone's mental health is going to be taxed on a little bit at the moment because of everything that's going on. I think everyone is sort of under the same umbrella of feeling stressed. So it's not specifically now that you have to be dealing with a specific mental health condition or anything. It is literally just work that's made in isolation, because it's still along the same lines.
Okay. So we've got a question in from Hannah saying, how do you find that creativity supports your mental health? It's a good question.
That is a good question. I personally find that by taking the thoughts, because I deal with like anxiety, so I get like built up thoughts in my head. And then by taking these and sort of like expressing them in writing and getting them down on the page, I'm able to sort of like rationalize them. And I'm also able to like express them sort of like emotionally and honestly, because I mean, no one else has to read them if it's my own poetry or whatever. But I just find that getting the words out on paper can be super useful. And I think it's the same with like illustrational stuff. You can say you're feeling really angry. You can like do paintings that sort of like represent your feelings. And I think taking them out of yourself and onto something physical that you can like see and logistically look at, I think it's been proven and stuff like that, that it's super.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I definitely, there's this trick that I used to do a couple of years back, where, because you know how things happen and you hold on to things and they start kind of like bother you, and they're like really small things, like, I don't know, the back ring on my hob isn't working, and after a long day, whatever's happened, that could be like the little bit that's like, oh my god, I can't do it. So what I used to do is I used to make a list of all the things that I couldn't help, and then I used to like shred it to be like, it's away from it's away from me. I don't need to look at it anymore, and then just try to kind of getting it out and moving it to the side.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea. I think that's a nice way of like physically destroying your worries and seeing them dissipate.
Yeah, and also just putting paper in a shredder is a lot of fun anyway.
Oh, it's great. It's so satisfying.
So I think in terms of, for my mental health and stuff, so at home and for my well-being, I do a lot of creative things. So I try to kind of find small things to do, or for example, we're going to be sharing a thing on how to make dye out of an avocado.
Oh, that sounds great.
Right? So this is something that I found in like one of those, like, you know, those like viral videos that just come out for no reason, and you're like, okay, cool, now I know how to do 5 things with like. So we've got like something like that that's going to be coming out, and the cool thing about that is you only need one avocado. Like one avocado makes like amazing colours, and you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never ever thought of using avocado to dye anything.
I mean, neither did I, and like I kind of didn't believe it at first, because a lot of these videos can be like fake.
Yeah.
So like it makes bright pink dye. Right.
That's strange.
It was insane to kind of see. I'm like, that can't be real, and then tried it out at home, and it is real. And we're going to be sharing some tips on how to do that at home.
Well, I really can't wait for that. I can't see how any pink is going to come out of an avocado.
I mean, it kind of stumped all of us. Like, I was doing it with Stella, the water's pink.
It's happening.
It's happening. So I think in terms of, can you give us any maybe sneak previews or kind of tips on the kind of things that you've been getting so far?
Sure. So I've had submissions. An illustration submission that I had that I really, really loved was somebody had taken like corners of the rooms of their houses and then like illustrated them, and then taken a photo of the piece of work in front of the corner of their house, which was really nice. And it was about like how suddenly being stuck in your house, you're like discovering different areas of your house, which I thought was really interesting, and I hadn't thought of that before.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, who was in the same year as me, so we graduated together, has started doing something similar to that, where they're doing a photo series of like textures that they're noticing at home. So they're like taking like close-up photographs of like random things in their house, like coasters, carpets, wood, plants, just kind of whatever there is. And kind of like bringing that whole other perspective of how to look at things that you might otherwise not notice in usual day-to-day activities.
Absolutely.
Really cool.
Yeah, and now seems like the time to do that. If you're stuck indoors, start looking at everything, start seeing things differently.
Yeah, and I think also using the daily exercise and stuff, the weather has been so good.
Yeah.
So, like going out and about and stuff, like you just kind of notice all the like little things that are out like flowers that are in bloom, or
Yeah.
some light on a tree that looks quite nice, or the light coming in through branches. Like, you know, just little things that kind of
Yeah, you
brighten
start getting like inspired by the things that usually we would just walk past and never notice.
Yeah. And I think something like having your phone with you, it's like it's really easy to just take pictures of things and just kind of capture the things that are around you.
Definitely, yeah.
So just before we wrap up, did anyone watching have any questions that they wanted to ask, either myself or Lucy, about the zine or otherwise? Also, if you're emailing us concerns, keep doing so. Thank you for sending those in, and we're working to get back to you. So thank you for that. It's been great. I think, did you have anything else that you needed to, anything about submissions or?
I don't think so. I think just don't be shy. You know, if you have work that because we have quite a lot of people be like, oh, I don't know if it's sort of good enough to go in a zine, but I'm sure it is. Like, please send it in. Don't be shy, and don't not reach out because you don't want to feel silly or anything like that. Just send us your work, or just open a conversation with us. We're here to just chat. If you feel like you're struggling and you want tips with art, like how to do your mental health and art together, or you just want to have a conversation about the zine or anything like that, please just reach out to us and just send us your work, because we want to see it. We want to see what you've got. So
that's really cool. So just to confirm it, so sending things over WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp, over Instagram. Sorry, I've got my social media mixed up.
That's fine.
So sending things over Instagram. Is there an email that people could send things to if things were a bit bigger? Ooh, I think we're frozen. Ooh. Sorry,
I'm back.
We're back. We're back.
Okay.
If people
email me. So if they put me a message on Instagram, if they can't remember the email, and I'll tell them the email. But if not, it's just goinsanezine@gmail.com, and that will be fine. But if not, contact us on social media, and we can give you our email address.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I think that's everything.
Cool.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to shoot them across, and we can answer them either in email or on social media. Feel free to shoot them across. And if you have any questions about the Quaran-Zine, please let myself or Lucy know.
Awesome.
Right, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me.
No, not at all.
Have a lovely rest of your day. Enjoy the sun. You
too. I think it's supposed to be raining from tomorrow, so definitely enjoy the sun.
It is, yeah. Get outside while you can.
Yeah, definitely. Right, thanks so much. Cheers. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye. Oh, we're frozen again. Honestly, the internet just can't manage it all. So thank you for joining us for our 5th installment of Monday Mood. We'll be back next week, hopefully talking about some other things, which we'll let you know about closer to the time. Until then, have